group in there. But originally it was presented as this full-blown VR story. We wanted it to be completely immersive, but once we started doing a lot more research on the subway itself, we realized that in order to present the entire complexity of a construction project like this, we needed to kind of break it down and break it into different elements so that by fully making it an immersive experience, we wouldn't be able to fully tell the entire story of the construction. So to start it off, we made this 360 video of walking down from street level down.
Welcome to the construction site.
Okay, this isn't. A lot of these elements are kind of finicky.
The Second Avenue subway. We are traveling.
But anyway, this doesn't work so well on this browser, but it works really well on Chrome and Firefox.
To the future 78.
We can stop that one. So anyway, this will take you from the street level all the way down to the platform where it eventually. Right, so it'll take you from the street level all the way down to where the place where you get on the train eventually is. So then after that, we wanted to break it up with a little bit of text to just give you, kind of reiterate those stats that you heard from this video, show you where the subway line is actually running, and kind of reiterate what you heard from this video. Next, we wanted to take you to the actual digging process and explain how the drill that they were using to cut through the entire the Manhattan schist is what they call it. It's like the sediment that they've been cutting through for the past 8 years. So we made this graphic
This tunnel boring machine is like a giant mechanical earthworm that consists of multiple parts to achieve this task. The technique used to drill from station to station is known as a horizontal directional drilling, or as some people call it, mole drilling. Mole drilling consists of a small hole initially being drilled forward.
Great, so when we were making this video, we were thinking that because the complexities of the drill are so complicated, if you were to put someone in a headset like a Samsung VR or something, it'd be way too distracting. To actually look at all these pieces moving and try to listen to what it takes to, I guess, drill through the sediment. So in that sense, we want it to be a little bit more of a passive experience and have people, really get to know the course behind drilling through this thing. So next, we wanted, since you were at the platform originally, we wanted to take you through the actual subway and give users an experience that they would never see before. Even if you were to ride the subway every single day, you would not necessarily be able to actually walk through the tunnel itself. So if you can scroll down a little bit more, we took our Ricoh Theta camera and walked through the subway to give you some 360 view of what it looks like during construction. And then those 3 sections above there give you a little bit more context between the freezing technique that they had to use. In this section of the tunnel specifically, the sediment that they were drilling through was a really muddy kind of sediment, and they had to freeze a section of the subway in order to drill through it. Also, the budgetary constraints of the next phase of the project are a big concern for the Manhattan Transit Authority. They were, highly over budget on this project, and for the next one, they're not even sure if they're going to be able to get a lot of state or federal money to continue it on. And also, we wanted to explain the history of the project that originally was supposed to start in the 1930s, but because of the Great Depression, they had some setbacks and weren't able to actually start until 2008. And along with that, there's an interview around all 3 of these that have one of the communications director for the MTA along with there. So again, we're just traveling through this whole subway tunnel until you get to the crossover station, which is our next element. You can go down. Scroll down a little bit more. So great. So after you're getting all this information and trying to soak it all in, we wanted you to have some type of an even deeper immersive type of interaction. So we had our Matterport 3D scanner that we brought to this one cross station that kind of lets you, so much as just relax and explore this whole area for yourself. So if you click on this one, might take a little bit to load. So this is where we eventually stopped. This is about, I'd say, 7 or 8 blocks past where you eventually went down into the tunnel. And if you click around this area, you can look around and everything, and physically, it kind of feels like you're walking around this area, but if you click certain sections of the area, you can walk around in there. It's not working too well right now. Anyway, so this is kind of just to break up the whole speed of the entire thing, all the information you're getting. It's kind of one way to just completely, walk around the area and really experience it for yourself. So the next process of the story is to take you above ground and help you empathize with the people who live in the area, and to give you a perspective of what their life is like every single day. Not only trying to get around it, but also trying to conduct business around the entire area. So we used a StorySphere to help bring those people who live around the subway to this project. This one also is a broken link as well. I promise it works really well in Firefox and Chrome. Anyway, so you guys can check that out. So in this area, in this space, we bring you one bike shop owner who lives all around the construction, and he sees these big kind of blocks right here as really an unnecessary thing that he has to live with every single day. They're used to just store a lot of items that aren't necessarily, relevant to the construction around them. They're just storing stuff around there. And then we also brought you these two ladies who own this whiskey and wine shop. And this final video here is to show these different apps that they're using to help connect all the stores around 2nd Avenue.
Allegedly December, but nobody ever actually knows.
Local businesses like Kennedy's have come together to keep their businesses afloat. They've
Great.
developed a smartphone app that
So that's the entire story. We wanted to take you from street level again all the way down into the tunnel, let you explore the entire area around there, and then take you above ground and help explain the struggles that a lot of people are working with in there, and how also they're overcoming those struggles to help connect a lot of stories around. So again, about the process of this story, took about 4 months to do overall, but we only had 5 days to actually report on the entire thing in New York. We were using the AP's newsroom in Manhattan as our home base, and also met with the Google News Lab to help pitch this story, and how that StorySphere there we were able to make that by going to Google, asking them to use some of their embed codes from the street views and then put them together so that it's not just one image, but it's 2 blocks, I guess, of the street level that you can go and just walk through and look around actually at what you're seeing and listening to those store owners talk about their difficulties. Also, just talking about what it was like to report in New York. We had never been there before. It was my first time in New York, actually, so it was a great experience as well to not only work in a pretty professional setting, but also to go and pitch your story to people who would potentially help you with it. What else do we have here? Okay, so another goal of our project was to build a plan for how community newspapers such as the Columbia Missourian, which I work at right now, could help pull off a story like this. So, just to give you a little bit more perspective on the equipment we were using a Ricoh Theta, not the newest model that's out now, which shoots in 4K, but we were using the M15, which was the first model that ever came out. That shoots in 720, and then when you crunch it down into YouTube to put something like a 360 video, which you see on top out there, it kind of crunches down to like a 420p almost. So that was probably the hardest thing for us in post-production, was finding a way to keep our quality of our video in a way that you could actually recognize what you were looking at, but also putting it up on a site like YouTube so you could easily show it to everybody. So the Theta models, they cost about $300 to $350 depending on how much you want to spend. And then, for that Matterport 3D scanner, that costs about $5,000, and then it's a $90 a month subscription to the actual editing service. So that's a pretty expensive tool in itself. But when you look at the Ricoh Theta compared to buying 6 GoPros and a rig itself, it's a pretty good deal. And also they're really easy to use. They connect to your phone via Wi-Fi, and then you can upload those videos either to a computer or directly to YouTube themselves. So we wanted people to know in a community newsroom setting that if you wanted to do stories like this, first of all, you have to realize that you can't just shoot anything like this in 360 or VR. You have to know specifically that the type of setting you're in, and that those visuals have to be the main part of the story. So like when you're walking through these kind of corridors of the subway station, we know that nobody, even if you ride the subway every single day, will be able to see those places. You won't ever see the crossover station. So that's what we wanted to give people. And overall, yeah, we're really excited to help show you guys everything. I think it turned out pretty well. And also, if you want to visit the entire story, you can just Google AP Interactives /2nd Avenue Subway, and you should see it up there. But yeah, thank you very much.